All right, Matt, you're 17 fights deep on a Bellator card, and it is time for our co-main event of the evening. Bellator 239 coming at you this Friday from Thackerville, Oklahoma. Great co-main event. I mean, at 155, we have Brandon Girtz taking on Myles Jury. And Matt, if you want to see a gruesome injury, and Brandon Girtz posts a lot about it on his Instagram, go back and watch Brandon Girtz in his last fight with Derek Campos. He has a Air Jordan punched into his face or elbowed into his face, and it just kept getting worse and worse. The fight ended. Wholesome man, really loves his pit bull, trains over in Colorado with some recognizable Bellator names, Carrington Banks and Grant Neal. You can find Grant Neal on this card as well, and he's taken on one of the tougher tests that he has, and that's not to take away from previous fights. I mean, he's faced Michael Chandler, Campos before. He's really faced a litany of good fighters, and in Brandon Girtz's last fight, he poured on the pressure and outlasted Syed Awad, and that's a key if Brandon Girtz is going to win. It's the fact that he definitely can push the pace and he's able to withstand. So if you get him into a third round, he's not going to tire so easily, especially training at elevation. But he's taken on Myles Jury, a guy who's going to possess 5 inches of height and reach over his opponent. And Myles Jury, I mean, he's faced some of the best fighters in the world, including Chad Mendez, to say the least. I mean, he's lost his last 3 and he lost his debut, but taking on a guy in Benson Henderson, who you might think is long in the tooth, but he's really been putting together good performances in Bellator cage. If I can set one more thing up, Matt, the odds have Jury's minus 255 favorite, Brandon Girtz plus 205. If you look over on Tapology, out of 296 votes, 79% going with Myles Jury. I'm really looking forward to this fight because you have a long, rangy striker against a guy that will put you into an absolute brawl. What do you expect in this one?
I think this is going to be your fight of the night. I really do for Bellator. I know that there's quite a few fights to choose from, as we keep on alluding to, but I do think that this, for entertainment value at least, is right at the top of the bill. Brandon Girtz doesn't know how to have a boring fight, and he only moves forward. Now, if we're going to bring up his cardio, we do have to bring up the fact that in his last fight against Syed Awad, he was fighting a guy who just had bad cardio, and that's kind of been the story of his career. So I don't think his cardio is going to be as big of a factor in this fight, just due to the fact that Myles Jury's been a guy who he can go out there and fight 3 rounds, 5 rounds. Doesn't matter how the fight goes. He can fight standing up, on the ground. He's a very versatile fighter. Like you said, I know we haven't seen exactly the big results from him. He has lost 3 in a row, but he's still a pretty good measuring stick, especially for young talent. I know he's not old himself just yet. He was a big-time prospect in the UFC for a while, and they just kind of never reached the potential that everyone was kind of hoping for. But I do think Myles Jury is going to get it done in this fight. Brandon Girtz doesn't move his head at all, and that's always going to be an issue for him moving forward in his career. Got a lot of scar tissue at this point, like you brought up with the kind of Air Jordan that was once put into his face. I feel like Myles Jury, he's going to throw a lot of knees, a lot of elbows, keep it on the outside, try to use his range a little better, and hopefully win a decision. And I think Myles Jury's got this in the bag.
I mean, this isn't the Myles Jury that beat Diego Sanchez and then Takanori Gomi, but it still is a serviceable guy, and he's still relatively young. I mean, I expect a great fight, like you said. Calling this a potential fight of the night, I definitely wouldn't disagree with you there. I can certainly see a path to victory for Brandon Girtz, and you can't count him out, especially at these odds. I mean, he's what, plus 205 right now. But I certainly am going to go with Myles Jury. Just stick it on the outside, move away from the power hand, because you always have to worry about the power hand of Brandon Girtz. That's how he's able to really generate a lot of momentum in a fight and continue to withstand pressure guys. So I expect Myles Jury to get the win here, but really looking forward to it, Matt. You're not going to want to miss the rest of our predictions. UFC Auckland, Bellator 239, 40, and Dublin.
All over.
All sorts of stuff going on Fight Night Picks, and as we always say, Matt, let's get into it.